Yeah, yeah. Hey, feeling young, but they treat me like the OG. And they want the tea on me, I swear these bitches nosy. Said he pussy.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I go by the name of Bungi Wakhatebe for those who don't know, and for those who know me, hi my loves. I'm back with another one. So today it's a bit different. It's a bit of a different video for you guys. It's a sit down video, which most people requested because they were like, we want to engage more with you, we want to get to know you more. And guys, disclaimer, I'm sick, so my voice might not be as clear as possible. Also, I'm sorry for background noises. My room is literally near the main gate, so when the gate opens, there's a noise child. When people come in, there's a noise child. So I put Instagram, I put a question sticker on my Instagram, and I asked people to ask me a couple questions that they would like to know about me. And you know what, but without talking further, let's start with the video. And then I wrote down all the questions in my notebook to make it easier for me because I'm shooting with my phone. So without further ado, let's start with the very first question. Okay. So somebody asked, did you find it hard to adjust from high school to tertiary? Honestly, yes. It was a very difficult transition. I won't lie. I remember first time I failed a test in my whole life. Like I was going through the most. I was going through the most. It felt like my whole world was like literally falling apart. I remember later that I got my results during the day. Later that evening, panic attack. Panic attack. Ambulance, we, not yo. Ambulance comes. I can't breathe. I can't do anything. I'm panicking. And time I had a test that Saturday, so it was a Friday. I was going through the most. So the transition was a bit difficult for me because from being a A student in high school to coming here and literally being the bottom of everything. I'm sorry guys, the camera is this side, but I keep looking here. So it was very hard. Also, the hours were crazy. You will sometimes be in class for like 2 hours, the same class. So the hours were also very much hard to like get used to, you know. Very hard transition. Also the fact that you're alone. Nobody's waking you up. Nobody's cooking for me.
You are going to do the dinner. No one is going to help you. You are going to wash the dishes. No one is going to help you. You are going to wash the floor in the kitchen. And
are you serious? Nobody is saying, hey, you need to do your work. You need to study. You know, my parents didn't do that as well. So I feel like they helped me a lot. My parents never told me to study. I finished high school without my parents even knowing that I was writing finals. I mean, they knew, but they never knew what I was writing. They just saw me studying. So for me, studying was easy because nobody told me to study at home. I just used to do it myself, you know. But sure, second question is skincare routine. I feel like I've gotten this question so many times, especially in my vlogs. I'm like, your skin is beautiful, you have a nice skin, what's your skin routine? And guys, I'm gonna be honest, there is no skin routine. Literally, there's no skin routine. I'm gonna give a few advices. Firstly, what everybody says, drink water. I drink water on a daily. Sometimes I forget, I'm human as well, but that has helped my skin. Secondly, watch what you eat. You know what's not good for your skin. As a person, you know what you're not supposed to eat. You know what makes your skin break out. So you must be careful with things that make your skin break out. And then for products, I won't really recommend any products to anyone because I feel like everybody has everybody has a different skin type and everybody reacts differently to every product. So I wouldn't really recommend anything to anyone. Just find what's best for your skin and use it. Sunscreen has had a huge impact on my skin. Ever since I started using sunscreen, I have been happy with how my skin looks. So that's one advice I'd also give out. But yeah, on to the next. So someone asked, how are you planning on balancing life as a full-time student and being a content creator? That is quite a difficult question because school hasn't started. So I've been able to create content, shoot, because everything is smooth sailing. And I feel like I can't compare last year to this year because this year I'm in second year. It's known to be a very difficult year. So honestly, my strategy is to make time for everything. Make time. Make time for everything. There's a time for everything. There's a time for me to study and focus on my books and be a student. And then there will be a time for me to be a content creator. You get me? So I think it's all about me and making time for every single thing. So I think that's how I'll find the balance between the two. I'm not also not trying to slack content creation wise, but then I've also made it a thing not to have a day in which I post, because I feel like when people expect you to post on a certain day and you don't deliver, child, they'll be on your necks and be like, girl, where's the video? Where's the video? And sometimes you're so cramped up with academics that you don't have time to shoot. You get me? So I feel like I will manage. I will manage. I don't think it's a huge thing. I started this because I love doing it, not because of anything else. So I feel like I can balance my school and with what I love at the same time. Which yeah, the next question is what is it like studying in Bloom, particularly UFS? Let's start with Bloom. When you're coming to study in Bloom, but I feel like in any city, you have to come with self-discipline. That is the only way you're gonna win, if you have self-discipline. Because if you don't have that, you are gonna be lost. Literally, you're gonna lose yourself. You're gonna even forget the main reason why you came to varsity. But Bloom as a whole, the experience, it's okay. It's a bit small. It's a small city. There isn't much to do. There isn't a lot. But then it's what you make out of it. I feel like I made my first year big. Because some people were like, girl, are you sure you're in Bloom? I'm like, I'm in my own mini Cape Town, in my own mini Joburg, okay? Because I utilize what I have and I make the most of it, you know. So studying in Bloom is nice, but just don't get lost in the club life because clubbing here is a lifestyle. It's a thing. And then UFS as a whole, like any other university, it has its pros and cons. But overall, my experience of it has been, honestly, I would give it a good 8 out of 10 as a university for the experience that they gave me last year. You know, I mean, they can do better. I mean, they can bring DJs. I feel like that's one thing they haven't done that other cities are doing. I'm like, please do something about it. If anyone is watching, that's important. Do something about it, okay? Yeah. Okay, guys, moving on to the next question is my worst high school experience, if I had. I need to drink. I need to drink because my entire high school was an experience, okay? But anyway, shout out to my high school. Shout out to Poly Erasmus High School. I feel like I had a great experience academically at that school. But the worst experience, child, the school was drama as a whole. Like you walk into that school and it's drama. As a whole, it's drama. So my worst experience, I feel like my worst experience was being involved in a lot of things that I shouldn't have been involved in. But then I'm not beating myself up because sometimes you learn. You grow up and you live and you learn, you know. So in high school, I was like involved in a lot of drama. So my high school experience was a bit awful. Not a lot of people liked me. And I get it, I got it. So it's something about living and learning, man. You know. So I feel like that was my worst experience. Being involved in drama for half of my not even half, for like 3/4 of my high school, you know. So the next question is, if there's one thing you could ask God to give you right now, what would it be? That is quite also difficult. But if I had to think on my feet right now, honestly, the one thing that I would want God to give me is the wisdom and the courage to handle each and everything that I prayed for, that I wanted this year. To be able to handle them and not mishandle if he gives them to me. For example, this YouTube thing. Started this thing, I was like, that's on YouTube, babe. And didn't expect it to go how it's going. But then, of course, I prayed about it. And I feel like that's one of the things God gave me. So I feel like I want to ask Him and pray for Him to give me the wisdom and the strength to not mishandle what He has given me, to not mishandle what I prayed for. You get me? Because sometimes we pray for things, we get them and then we mishandle them very much. So that's the one thing I would ask from Him right now. And then the next question is, what year are you doing and what are you studying? So currently I'm in second year. Second year studying BCom accounting. It's not much to say because I feel like my journey is still long. But then hopefully, it will end in CASA. Definitely. We are not doubting ourselves in any type of way. So yeah, so I'm in second year now. Kind of feels unreal, especially the fact that next year is my final year. It's like, girl, I just got here. I literally just got here. So what do you mean next year is my final year? So it's a bit too much to take in. Someone asked, how's my experience with Campus Key so far? It's been an experience. That's what I can tell you. It's been pretty interesting. I mean, I came here knowing what Campus Key is popularly like known for, like what it's known for, what the vibes here are like. So when I got here, I wasn't really shocked with what I got. I was like, okay, this is the life here. So there's nothing to really be like shocked about. But then so far, like the freshers welcoming week was great. They were very welcoming. I met couple of nice people. So the environment here is friendly. You can make friends really quickly. So I feel like the decision to come here, I'm not regretting it as yet. Probably later in the year because the noise here is just, it's unbearable sometimes. Because like, you get people that scream. I'm like, why are you screaming? Like, there's no need to scream. You get me? And then someone asked me about plans after graduation. There's literally no plan. Studying. More and more studying, I guess. I feel like after my undergrad, I still have 2 years of studying. And then after that, articles. At least I'll be working, but I'll still be studying. So I feel like studying doesn't stop. So I will be studying. Someone asked for tips for balancing a social life, mujolo, and school. I feel like everybody says this, but like it's the right answer. You just have to find a balance. One cannot be like, it cannot be like one is here, one is there. You have to balance them out either way. School wise, you have to know there's time for school. There is always time for school. You always have to make time for school. That's one thing I will tell you. You always have to make time for school because university course will chow. And it won't be nice if you're behind. So, for example, if you know you're going out for the weekend, study in advance, do your work in advance, work from Monday to Friday, push because you know you're going out on this weekend. So you can't be slacking during the week and then you want to go out during the weekend. It does not work like that, honey. Not here. It does not work like that. Because one thing I know for sure, you must have a social life as well. You can't say, I'm here to study. I'm gonna focus on my books. Child, you're gonna be depressed. You are gonna be depressed in the first 3 months of being in varsity. You'll feel like I wanna go home. Because why? You just keep chowing books every day. Every day you're chowing books. They're like, girl, let's go out to a restaurant. You're like, no, I have to study. They're like, let's go out to Boho. You're like, no, I have to do this. And then you're gonna get depressed. Books are depressing end of the day. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how much you want in life. Going out is needed. Breathing is needed. Getting a breath of fresh air is definitely needed, you know. So I advise you to have a really good balance between that. And in terms of relationship, honestly, you don't have to date. You don't have to. Like, that's one thing I would say. You don't have to. It doesn't matter if your friend or your roommate is in a relationship. You don't have to. Never be pressured to, you know. So I got in my relationship in a very weird way. Came here on some, I don't want anything to do with relationships. I just want to get to know people.
Oh, lies, lies, lies. And everywhere is lies.
And it didn't work out that way. I got to know one person and then that was the end. That was the end of the story. So how I balance that side of my life, I feel like it's easier because I am dating someone that's studying the same course. So we have same classes, we have same test schedules, we have the same assignments. So when we have to hang out, it's not difficult because I'm done writing my test, you're done writing your test. There's no clash in times. So we have our own time where we hang out because we know we're done for schoolwork. There's no tests, assignments are done. So it's very easy. And sometimes we used to study together. So it made things a lot easier. But I'm not saying date in your faculty. I mean, if you want a rich husband, maybe engineering, health science, but you know. And then someone asked, how is having friends from varsity like for you? Also, is it your first year? I feel like I answered this my second year. Having friends, it's a breath of fresh air. There's nothing like starting over and nobody knows where you're from. Nobody knows your home situation. Nobody knows your past, even if you have a good past. But the fact that nobody knows anything about you, it's really nice to start over and make friends from scratch. And the nice thing about varsity friends is that you guys come from different backgrounds. You have different cultures, ethnicity. So it's really nice to get to know different types of people. One thing I'll tell you is that you can't make it through varsity without friends. You need those type of people that are gonna wake you up and be like, hey girl, let's go to class. And they're also gonna wake you up at late at night and be like, let's go to the club, you know. So you need to make friends. You need to get to know different people. And then someone asked me, are you genuinely enjoying what you're studying? Honestly, to my biggest surprise, yes. Thing is, I did enjoy accounting in high school very much. At some point, I was the teacher's pet. That I won't lie, but I enjoyed it so much. I was sitting in front of the teacher's table, always doing my work, always asking extra questions. So I was very interested in accounting. So honestly, right now I am enjoying it like very much. Well, the accounting part. These other modules, like it's like they're just blocking me from having a bright future. Okay, like why do I have to do modules that have nothing to do with my career? It's not cute. It's really not cute. But I am really enjoying it. And then next question is, what career have you always wanted to pursue and what am I studying? Like I've mentioned a lot of times, I'm studying BCom accounting, so accounting. The career that I've always wanted to pursue, I feel like I've always had one thing in mind since I was very young. I have wanted to do medicine. Actually, not specifically medicine, but I've always said I wanted to do medicine. And then later in grade 11, I was like, I want to actually do anything in health science, like anything I can find. My first interest was radiography, you know. But then it was a very tough thing for me because It was offered at technical universities, and most technical universities weren't in places that I wanted to go to. I did apply, but at the end of the day, I ended up not going. But that was my first choice, and then accounting was obviously my second. Obviously, that's how I got here. So that is what I had always wanted to do, anything in health science. What is the hardest challenge I had to face, and how did I overcome it? Trying to think of recently. I feel like the hardest challenge I've had to face was being met with modules that I had no idea what was going on. One of them was being economics. I have never done economics, never seen an economics textbook in my life. By the time I spent in high school, we didn't have economics as a subject in my high school, so I didn't even know friends that did it. So when I got to varsity and it was one of my modules, I was shocked. I was taken aback. But then I believed in myself. I was like, I got this. Got this. Wrote the first test. It was okay. Second test, failed dismally. When I tell you failed, I mean, yeah, failed dismally. I was given the third opportunity to write the third test, thankfully. I did okay. I just made it to be able to qualify for exams. And that's one thing they don't tell you about varsity. You don't come here and just write exams. You need to actually work to write exams. So fine, I made it to the second one. And to the third one, I barely made it to the exams. And the hardest challenge I faced was getting the motivation to study. Like, it was the hardest thing for me because I was like, in order for me to pass this module, I needed 70% for that exam. I literally said in my room that there was like, yeah, I qualified for this exam, but is it worth putting my mental health at risk? So I did the one thing that I never thought I would do in my life. I studied, but I didn't really study. I was so drained. Like, I was literally so drained. I was like, if I repeat this module next year, it's fine. It's okay. And that's also one thing that they don't really teach metrics when they come to varsity. Guys, it's okay to fail. Like, it's not the end of the world. I feel like I wish somebody would have told me this before I failed my first test, because I felt like it was the end of the world. Cried myself. Probably 2 days I cried. I cried. Never told my parents because I was the smart kid at home. So I wasn't gonna go tell my parents I failed. Like, I wasn't about to do that. So I went into that exam room. It was the hardest thing. But then I overcame it by praying. I told God, I was like, God, I can't do it. I'm gonna go write this exam, but I am not prepared. I can't do it. Mentally, I'm not in the right state. Because I remember it was my last exam. It was my last exam of the year. No, the semester. It was first semester. It was my last exam for first semester. I literally prayed that morning. I was like, I'm going to write this exam, God, but like, I'm defeated. I am mentally drained. I am physically drained. At this point, I just want to go home. So I missed a question. So this is the last question I'm gonna cover. It's, how is UFS social culture and academic culture? I don't think I'm well equipped to answer the social part of UFS because I didn't get into race first year. So I never got to feel the race culture. I saw it when I was walking around campus. Races getting together, singing, having events and all that. But then because I stayed off campus, it was very hard to like get into the race culture, the whole social culture, So I didn't really get an experience. But this year I'm joining a day race. One of my friends invited me to join a day race called Imperium. So maybe I might get a little bit of like that social culture that the UFS has to offer. And academic wise, I can say it's also good. There's a lot of academic programs you can join here. I'm in one of them. I'm in one accounting program called Intrabus. So it's extra things that help you, that help shape your career, get to know different people, get to be exposed to different people. And yeah, I guess that's all I can say about that until I actually go into the social culture this year and see what they have, you know, and what they provide. You know, I was quite scared to do the sit-down video because I was like, am I going to be able to talk for so long? Am I going to be entertaining for people to listen to me? You know, so I was quite like very scared. But then, I mean, I just did it now. Like, I did it flawlessly. You know, I think I like to toot my own horn. So you guys will get used to it. You'll get used to it. What did I say? People shouting for no reason. That's campus key for you, darling. Not bashing it. It's great here. But yo, I don't like people shouting for no reason. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just a peaceful person. Or very reserved, you know. So yeah, guys. But then this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This literally turned into a varsity tips and experience thing. And it wasn't the case, but then I enjoyed giving tips. Like, I enjoy giving tips. If you need tips, just holla at me. You know. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching till this far. I hope this information was useful, and I hope you guys got to know a bit about me, got a taste of my personality, you know. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and please like, please comment, please share with your friends, and please subscribe. We are on the road to 1K. We're on the road to 1K, so let's get there, okay? But yeah, until next time.
Hey, feeling young, but they treat me like the OG. And they want the T on me, I swear these bitches know.